That's already two of them complete here for this summer tour. Night number two at Mansfield, July 20th. And we continue to shuffle up the set list a little bit. We got a nice mix of the new songs, the old favorites that everybody loves, ending sets nicely. Well, one of the sets ended nicely anyhow. Look at these set openers. And mixing things up, maybe they went a little too heavy on the mixing up here with YEM opening up the second set. But we will not start there. We will start here at the first set with Theme from the Bottom. And, for three, look, if I was going to put together a greatest hits, these three are likely to going to be on it. But each three had a little. Theme was maybe my favorite, but they back on the train while it got ripping and roaring, of course, by the end. But it had a bit of a rough start. In the jam, middle of it, like right when it should have really been hitting its stride, they stumbled. Or maybe it was just like the sound or the mix, even in the jam and sand. It's like Paige and Trey were just so loud and clashing with one another or something. And then we take a little break for Bouncin and Numberline. So, the back on the train, while it did get roaring, there's been several songs both nights where early on in the song, it's like maybe the timing's just not quite there. I don't think they're like still slowly changing the songs on us. Wolfman's might have been another one. I mean, the telephone ring in Wolfman's, woo-hoo, a D minus perhaps. But then by the end of it, it was like, wow, this might have been the best song of the set. So we get the sand in there, and it's not early here in the first set. Not often that sand is going to be just kind of like, I'm going to give it a shrug. But that one, not much there. And then we get back to back, Bouncin and Numberline. I'll take one of them, but two in a row. But then happily, very happily accepting the new one, Human Nature, the Mike song. And, for a first time play, they didn't go too deep with it, obviously, here. But then seems like they most likely will before the summer's out. And boy, that would be something to have a fresh Mike song that actually can kind of do what 555 never did for us. And then It's Ice here. If It's Ice doesn't, that little jam section in the middle, if we don't get a little something cool out of that, I'm not much on the It's Ice, and that was the case tonight. Not a whole lot going on there for Page, and when he has his moment. Wolfman's brother, like I said, though, it kind of while they may have stumbled, the telephone ring was weak. It was a weak wing. And then they really get going, though. They know how to drive it home, get everybody fired up. But then only for drift. I mean, I don't know. Drift while you're sleeping has its moments, I suppose, is like the nicest thing I'll say about it. But man, I mean, I don't know. Trey made some jokes over here. Why not just, hey, you can play a short set. Did you have to? I mean, this was a high note, a high note. And then we get over here. We'll move on to set number two now. You Enjoy Myself opening up. Look, hey, I'm always going to be happy with a set opener like that. But then a very quick run through You Enjoy Myself. Trey kind of had his moment. Mike did. And then the one good note is with the run through in it, a brief vocal jam, which I am always on board for a brief vocal jam, then led back into a slight YEM jam, but then into Oblivion. Almost seemed like maybe a little pre-planned idea here. Let's do YEM into Oblivion, one of the old greats into one of the potential new greats. And while Oblivion has had its moments, even off of the studio album, that's one that I did like. Didn't really hit tonight, man. I don't know. As we were heating up here, you would think. No, not necessarily the case, but then No Man in No Man's Land. Kind of from the get-go, it's going, and it's impressive. That song, for a song that, I don't know, shouldn't have ever been that good, really, it really has been. And maybe now it's not as consistent. You might hear it and you might groan because you've gotten it 11 times. But this one tonight was the big one, especially when it kind of became more of a page-oriented thing. Kind of over here with Wolfman's, too, I should have mentioned. Started out very much a Mike jam, and then, Mike really going to town. It's nice to see Mike with some more space back there now, too, post-Sphere. Not all crowded in. I mean, it looked like he was kind of just shoved into an equipment room or something at one point. It's just speakers and drawers and cabinets everywhere. Now he's just got him a nice platform, bunch of pedals, of course. And then, so yeah, man, Mike really got us going in the Wolfman jam. And then Trey eased in. Once Trey came in, everybody stepped aside a little bit. They had their step aside Butch moment. And then we get over here. Let's get back over here to No Man in No Man's Land where we were. Although this one really did. For one that didn't necessarily leave the park, it was a home run. Somehow. I don't know, inside the park home run, I suppose. That's a thing. All right, then Monsters. Okay. Controversial take, man. I like it. I really like it. And if you're a guitar player, I suppose you like it. If we're going to kind of calm down after this big boy, Monsters was a good one. You know, it is very much a Trey song. Oh, yeah, there's not a whole lot to do for the other guys in the band. It is pretty much all Trey all the time. But I think it hits. I think it hits the spot nicely tonight, and most times it does. You know, I don't know if people. I feel like people are probably. You know, every now and then I'll put my finger in the water and test the temperature. Monsters, it comes back cold. All right, it's 2001. Everybody in the band does get a chance. You know, if they all have to take a little break here and let Trey shine, 2001, not necessarily the case at all. Chalk Dust Torture, kind of like Wolfman's, you know. It's just going to rage at home. And when they could have cut it short and snuck in another song on us, like maybe this donk down here, we didn't. We kind of went deep with the Chalk Dust Torture. Just raging. You know, nothing like No Man in No Man's Land where you get some weird page stuff going on. What a way to end the set. And then, unlike this over here, you know, I mean, Wolfman's really ran its limit, but okay, so then Trey comes out, he's making jokes, Fishman, Orange Whip jokes, you know, a callback. That seemed, when was that? Last summer, New Year's Eve? That was a while ago with the Orange Whip. So that comes back, and then when the Circus comes to town, speak of refreshing covers, from the 1990s until now, this damn song. And I wasn't in the mood for it tonight. I'm never in the mood for that song. You know, if you think you like that song, I don't know if you like that song or not. Next time they play that song, which will probably be the summer, unfortunately, you'll probably get it at the festival. Put all that work and money into going to the festival, and then they'll play this on. They'll just take a big whiff of the air and tell me if you like that turd or not when you're getting hit with that at the festival or whenever that might be. I don't think you will. And if you do, well, you know, hey, you know, put it in a balloon or something. Take it with you. Have some at home. All right. So then we get into David Bowie, the highlight of the encore. And then the jam kind of like gets iced. That kind of like a moment when this, like, maybe is this Bowie going to shine? It kind of just got through the Bowie. But then, wow, once we got into kind of the final segment, it really was a strong Bowie there toward the end. And then Say It To Me, Santos. They had to go back one last time. I swear, I tell you. You know, we got 1 out of the 3. You know, the jelly on there. The jelly was good. The bread, I don't know, man. It was stale. It was rye. Nobody likes rye. Rye bread. That's what this sandwich was. Some sweet meat, though. I don't know, what was that? Salami? Fried bologna? All right, enough. We're out of here. Boom. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now, I had its mate. You know, it took a minute to get going, but once it did, I kind of, no men through chalk dust. You know, thumbs up. Thumbs down on When the Circus Comes to Town. I'm sorry. If that song's near and dear to you, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything mean, but I should. You deserve it for liking that song. All right, enough about that. Most of the show was not that. Most of the show was stuff like this. What was up with that Trey better get it together on that telephone ring next time they play Wolfman's. He owes us a good ring. This was some crappy flip phone like in your pocket. All right, I should have stopped a minute ago. Boom. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Not bad. Hey, 2 nights in. It's early.